Just a minute. 10 pounds of white cane sugar and 1 cup of water, 1 teaspoon of white vinegar, acetic acid, lemon juice, whatever, but we have found the white vinegar to be a little better. There's no chance of getting any impurities and stuff. It has to be acidic. If it's just plain sugar that you don't do anything to it, they carry it out the front door. It's trash.
The vinegar went into what, 1 cup of water?
Went into 1 cup of water. You got 10 pounds of sugar, 1 cup of water, and 1 teaspoon of vinegar. The vinegar can be a little more, but never less than 1 teaspoon. The sugar, 10 pounds is pretty much it. The water must be exactly 1 cup and no more, no less. And then we start the process.
We don't have foundation.
What? Just regular wax paper. They can get our newspaper. The Washington Post is good. See, this is very easy for the bees to deal with, and it's not really heavily coated with wax.
What is that?
It's the wax paper that goes between foundation. What we got here is the 10 frame shim. It's about 2 inches deep, and we're going to cover most of this with the exception of the coners. The coners, we will not put any sugar because the inner cover where this is going to be will be above this, but the inner cover has ventilation holes in it, and that will block the sugar away from that so that the air comes through that vacant spot to the ventilation hole. This piece of Luan, 1/4 inch Luan plywood, we put it down on the surface that we're going to use to pack, and we put this over the top of it. Now that keeps the bottom of this from getting too low. A lot of people keep bees with the top bars right at the top level, meaning there's no bee space. We have created a bee space underneath this with this 1/4 inch shim, so then they can get to the sugar. Otherwise, it's down on it and they come in from the coners, which is not within the thermal column. Everything is about the thermal column. Bees go vertical following that thermal column. Once they get to the sugar, the transporter can carry it back to the cluster, which would be directly below. And they stay within that, then they can live and they can do their job. So you can take it like this, and this is what you want. That's perfect. I believe we got it. And what she's doing is trying to get as much of the air pockets out as we can. We want to put this on sometime around between Christmas and middle of January on a warm day. All it is insurance. Because hopefully they've got enough honey. And our job is to work toward that. But in the meantime, just to make sure this is there.
And harden, get ready indoors.
That's all right.
Outdoors.
Now the reason we're doing this and smoothing it is because the cover has to sit flat on this with no rocking and no open areas. Get a knife, cut about that much of it off.
You want to put 2 in that size?
We won't put one about double what size, or two, either one. Okay, put them right in there. This pollen substitute is up in the top. They have to come through a certain amount of the energy, the candy, before they get to this pollen. This is an emergency insurance because we might get a freeze during the red maple when we get our normal early pollen. They prefer the maple. They will use it and not this. They will haul this out if they don't need it. But this is here as insurance. We basically have put 10 pounds in this particular brick, which is about what it takes for a colony in this part of the world if they need it. And like was mentioned earlier in the question, the idea is to have bees that do not need it, which would make this insurance. But if it needed, it's there. Most bees will get into it a little bit, But some bees will get too much of it. They use the whole thing. Those bees we try not to use in a breeding system because they are not thrifty, not frugal. They have to be frugal to make it through the winter in a temperate zone, which we live in Northern Virginia.